Oh, yeah. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Spill the Tequila here on the John Rocha channel. I am John Rocha, joined as always by the king of swag himself, who I promise will not try to pick up his two phones and leave throughout this entire show. And that is my man, Winston A. Marshall. How are you, Winston?
That's only because I only have one phone. I will take my one phone and my switch and I will leave. Okay. Don't think I won't do that. Okay. You interrupted me, Rocha. I don't appreciate that, bro. You interrupted me. All right. If you're gonna ask me a question, you gotta let me finish it.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. We got so much to talk about today. We are going to have a lot of fun over this next 90 minutes talking about stuff that's going on in the world of entertainment. Certainly there's some certainly we're going to start with the anime stuff with Demon Slayer. Winston is a very big anime person, so we're going to have a conversation with him about the box office, what it means for the future of Hollywood, and if these studios are missing out right now on not taking advantage of the growing power of anime, especially as superhero movies start to decline, as these other movies start to the genre type of movies start to lower in interest from the audience. Is anime the way to go? We'll talk some new Marvel stuff, certainly some new rumors around Wanda Maximoff and Avengers Doomsday. We'll talk the deleted scene from Fantastic Four that was dropped today. We're going to get into some NFL Week 2 news as well. And going to talk about that Damon Dash, Charlamagne the God confrontation as we teased here just a few seconds ago. But how are you, Winston? Where are you at? How are you feeling, brother, right now before we start?
I mean, I'll be honest, man. I am emotionally drained.
I hear you, man.
I think everything from the way the conversation over Charlie Kirk has gone, which is why we're not talking about it. Cause I honestly, you asked me, and if people are going to come in and wonder why we're not, it's because I don't want to. I'm over it. It is not only from how it played out, how it's then being responded to in Washington, how it's playing out on the internet, all that drained the life out of me. While that's happening, multiple other school shootings have been going on that have been getting no coverage. There's a young black boy down in Delta State University, I think in Mississippi, who was very clearly lynched. They try and pretend that it was a suicide, but black people don't hang themselves from trees. And on top of that, he had broken limbs. So I call bullshit. You throw all of that into a pot, on top of the fact that the world seems like it's constantly on fire. The Eagles are 2-0. It's a lot to deal with. So I am personally emotionally drained. I'm excited to talk about anime for a little bit. I'm excited to shoot the shit and whatnot, but the world feels more so than normal like it's very much on fire.
I had to take I gotta say, I had to take a little bit of a mental health day today myself. I had originally planned to do a couple of things this morning, work on a couple of things this morning, and I kind of just sat, no lies, woke up, sat in my underwear till about 11 a.m. and just kind of watched stuff and kind of thought about stuff and looked out the window and thought about stuff, because just like you, man, this stuff really gets you. If you're even remotely an empathetic or understanding person or a person with emotions, that you're in touch with, this stuff that's happening around our world right now can be quite, as Winston said, exhausting, demoralizing, overwhelming, hopeless. You have the sense of hopelessness throughout, because how much power do we actually have? And it feels like we have no power to at least find a middle ground. There doesn't seem to be a middle ground in all of this. And this, of course, Charlie Kirk, the political violence should never happen. It's terrible. His assassination is horrible. Murder for your political beliefs is not the way things should happen in this country, or in any country, really, in a perfect world. And it's horrible what happened to him. But you've got to balance it. And that is, people are allowed to express their issues with his words while he was alive. There's nothing wrong with that. And people are getting fired left and right, or people getting told they're horrible people. And it's no, again, we got to find the middle ground. And here was a perfect opportunity on the plate for the people in charge right now to say, listen, this has gone way too far. Clearly there's problems on both sides. We're going to try to now kind of tamp stuff down on all sides, find a middle ground, reach have some conversations with everybody from all sides, so we can at least make some good faith efforts to try to understand each other. But because clearly we should not be getting murdered for our political views. But unfortunately, the people in power have chosen to go in a completely different direction, and it's a direction that's going to cause more division, more hate, more anger, more toxicity, more terrible rhetoric, and sadly, possibly, and hopefully not, but possibly more violence, which is terrible to see happen in our country, Winston.
Yeah, I mean the speed version of us discussing anything Charlie Kirk. I think the part that bothers me is while I can sit here and say that the man did not deserve to be murdered,
Yeah,
the ability to completely try and make him a saint, to whitewash the stuff that he was saying, and to be confused why the groups that he was constantly attacking are very literally using his own words. He said he doesn't believe in empathy. He said that gun deaths have to happen to keep the second, like, do not there's this cognitive dissonance that's happening that's so crazy. And it's now being used as like the final chapter in the playbook of like a Project 2025 of wanting to clamp down on freedom of speech and everything else because of all the things that are being pushed right now in Congress. It is the only thing that makes it worse is not only is the fires being stoked, like they wanted to say, we got to turn the temperature down, we got to turn it down, but in actuality, they're turning the temperature up.
Yeah.
And using that as a means, whether it be social media or anything else, to make what is already, if we're Evil Knievel, the jump across this canyon to try and divide this shit is already fucking insane. And they continue to make it bigger. You know what I'm saying?
That's a great analogy because Evil Knievel couldn't make the jump.
No,
we are not going to make the jump if they keep making the chasm wider and wider that we're supposed to be jumping, man, for sure.
Yep. So it's just I think the part that sucks more than anything, one of the things that I know, being a Latino man, but one of the things about being a black man in America is this idea of like feeling like Mugatu from Zoolander and feel like you're taking crazy pills. And like you're looking objectively at reality and people are constantly telling you that you're insane. And for somebody that on top of that has ADHD, so I am already second guessing myself constantly, like, shit, did I take the track? Did I? It doesn't help to then have things that are more serious that my brain is more dialed into to still be gaslit. It's
Yeah, and I don't even. You're so 100% right, and that's the unfortunate thing. Is this was, it's of course the murder is horrible, should have never happened. There should be no, and there should be no celebrating of it, which I know some people engaged in, which is way out of pocket. I didn't see a lot of that on my feed. Remember, we are always subject to our algorithms and what they feed us on social media. I didn't see too many people celebrating on my feed, but I heard from other people that they saw a lot of people celebrating from this. So that's something I don't agree with or condone either. But I do think I do think this has caused a massive rift now, and they're pushing narratives here to create, as you said, to make the division even wider. And that's so unfortunate because this should be a time where we should be coming together. We used to come together in the past when tragedies happen like this to go like, look, let's turn down the temperature. Let's at least make some kind of attempt to find a middle ground. And there's none of that here. In fact, it's just, and it makes me question everything they're pushing out now. Like, I don't know anything they're telling us from Utah is the truth, including those text messages. Already people are breaking down those text messages going, no way that's the truth.
That's just not how a 22-year-old talks is the other thing about it that's weird. But like, I think the last little part that sticks out of my brain, the audacity to genuinely compare Charlie Kirk to Martin Luther King and to Malcolm X is the most infuriating and disrespectful thing on the planet. It is like, say what you will about him being a political activist or debater or whatever it is, to compare the treatment of the way black people were literally segregated, lynched, redlined, you name it, the way that we were treated as subhuman, to actually compare the work that the two of them did to Charlie Kirk is absolutely disgusting. And I think that's the part where I go from beyond exhausted to genuinely furious. I joke about how I'm Banner from the original Avengers talking about the secret is I'm always angry. This is the type of shit that now the Scarlet Witch is fucking with my head, and I feel like I'm on an emotional rampage. Like it is so disrespectful, and people see nothing wrong with making that comparison and continuing to do that and putting flags at half mast, even though there are school shootings happening. You had a Minnesota lawmaker and her husband get murdered,
3 months
assassinated themselves. And not only did Trump say some shit like, I don't need to call them, that'd be a waste of time. Those are actually elected officials, and you don't put the flags at half mast for a senseless killing of them, but you.
So yeah, exactly, 100%. But again, it just feels like one side's really gone off the deep end. And yes, I'm not saying there isn't, there haven't been comments on the left at times that were a bit toxic or vile or whatever. I would never deny that, but I mean, it seems clear, and you've seen all the statistics where the political violence is actually coming from, where the large number, according to the statistics that they have from all kinds of unbiased studies, show where it's coming from. And that's the honest truth. And trying to turn this person into indoctrinated by left ideology or trans ideology or whatever it is, and ignoring the number of years that he grew up in a MAGA household is not really assessing this person and their experience correctly. And it's all trying to use this person to fit certain narratives. And that's unfortunate to see, because again, this was a great opportunity to bring people together and look for deeper understanding and conversations to be had. But unfortunately, there's too much money and too much political power to be had by one side. So they're pushing this narrative down people's throats and trying to see if it works. And it also distracts from the Epstein files, consequently, which is a really interesting angle on this as well. So, but anyway, we just wanted to touch on it because we know everyone's been thinking about it, but we should move on to happier topics as we try to distract ourselves from that. So, Winston, let's get into this. Just a reminder, Streamlabs Super Chats are open. If you want to send in your questions, thoughts, and comments, please do so. You see the Streamlabs address right above Winston's head. It's in the description of the video and pinned in the chat as well. But let's get into some anime stuff here, Winston. This is a massive story over the weekend here with Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle, that was already a big hit in Japan, now became the highest grossing movie domestically over the weekend, beating Downton Abbey, beating The Long Walk, beating Spinal Tap 2. It opened with a better than expected $70 million. Just to give you guys a little bit of a taste of how amazing that is, the predictions were 35 to 60, and 60 being like the ultimate highest they thought it was going to get. It blew past that to 70. And now its global total, I think, is $272 million in the box office, with revenue $213 million coming from Japan alone. So, Winston, this is massive news. And already people are analyzing, is anime going to be things that the Hollywood studios are looking at to do more and more here going forward?
As long as they don't screw it up, I'm happy for it. Like there have been instances where they have attempted to adapt anime into live action, and in my mind, I think the only one that was actually any good, and I haven't even seen it because I'm just not a fan of that franchise, is One Piece. Death Note was terrible. The Dragon Ball movie was an abomination.
Right.
And really, because instead of taking it at face value, there was this idea of, well, it's a little silly or it's a little too fantastical, so we're just going to make some slight tweaks. But part of what made it so interesting is because it was a little bit more like you're just acknowledging the fantasy of the worlds that you're seeing. And in so many times, they're still very grounded, even in said fantasy. Like if you think about comic book movies, you can still ground them, but think the idea of a man putting a metal electromagnetic battery in his chest to stop shrapnel from getting to his heart that allows him to fly in a death machine. That's genuinely insane. So just let it happen, So if you're gonna do any live adaptations, lean more in, and I think that will help. But I do think that this is the beginning of anime getting a lot more respect and potentially opening the doorway for more stuff. There have been plenty of people that have been about that life, and it's been growing, over time. I never watched Demon Slayer, so I'm behind. I'm actually going to be doing a reaction with Christian for the first couple episodes. We're going to figure out if we're going to do the whole series together or if it's just to do that as like one reaction. Then I'm going to go play catch up. But I remember when during the pandemic, this like kind of took off. And people were like, at least folks that I know that are in anime, that they were like, Demon Slayer's that shit. And I just never saw it. I am so happy to hear that it did it. And of all the properties, that it was this one. Not that I wouldn't want it for Dragon Ball, not that I wouldn't want it for Naruto or My Hero or any of the other like majors that have come throughout the years. But there's something about this anime particularly that always kind of gave the vibe of like the little engine that could, and just doing things that are like, damn, bro. Because like when Demon Slayer first came out, I want to say it was on Netflix, and for a minute it was like holding Netflix's record for like new show like streams and shit during the pandemic, and I was like, that's incredibly impressive. So I really hope that this is the beginning of even more, man. You know what I'm saying? I hope that this is the beginning of seeing a lot more. Take Bong Joon-ho and what he said. If you can look down a few inches and you know, read some subtitles, you'll be introduced to a whole new world of storytelling and magic and things like that. And that applies not just to things like Parasite, but things like anime and stuff like that.
Yeah, like you were saying, it really blew up anime during the pandemic because people were home, needed something to watch, and they caught up on this anime stuff. They got really into it, and that's what kind of gave it a whole new life. Because I've known about anime since the 80s. You know, I saw Akira in a theater, and I remember that very clearly. And I, didn't have access to all that stuff back then. When I was growing up, you had to like find some, sweaty dude who was downloading them from Japan or had friends who went to Japan and they had a VHS. And, those were the days where you had to go buy a kiosk in the mall, and they happened to have them. They were like $100 for one VHS. I mean, those were the days that I grew up with it. But now, of course, with all the stuff they have, Crunchyroll, Netflix, Hulu, they do a lot of anime that they put out there for people to watch as distributors. And I look at the numbers here as I was looking at why this is growing as an entity here, and you see that the Netflix numbers are the reasons that it is one of the reasons why it's blowing up so much. More people are watching it on Netflix. More people are watching it in other places. And anime in 2023 made up $5.5 billion of the global streaming revenue, averaging about 6% of all the genres here. And Crunchyroll has 17 million subscribers as of May, which is up from $15 million last year. I'm getting this from an LA Times article that was published 2 days ago. 17 million subscribers. They had 15 million last year. They had 13 million in 2024. So they've seen a 4 million subscriber jump in 2 years in people who are watching their stuff. And Sony said last year that Crunchyroll's global streaming revenue from anime titles totaled $1.4 billion. So, I mean, there's so much to be had here, so much to be watched overall. And you're seeing this push to like, well, what's the next step with it? And I hope these studios are paying attention, and I get it. Demon Slayer is an unusual situation because you had multiple seasons of a show, you had previous movies. This is the start of a new trilogy, but the fact that you got to 70 million, that tells you that a lot of people are watching this stuff to be caught up in it so they can watch it in the theater,
I mean, to that point, and like the funny thing is, without really getting a grip on Hollywood like that, the number one media franchise in the world is Pokemon at 147 billion. This is an estimate from last year, from what oh my god, what is the name of that? From a capitalist group, I guess the Veroni Visual Capitalist Group, but like 103 billion in merchandise, 28 billion in video games, 12 billion in trading cards, 1.7 at the box office, and 1.5 in manga and comics. Right. Next up, Hello Kitty isn't really an anime per se, Japanese character for sure, and definitely a cartoon character. But correct me if I'm wrong there. I don't think so. But like, Anpanaman, 56 billion, which is below Star Wars and Mickey Mouse and Winnie the Pooh, but above Disney princesses, Mario, the MCU, Jump Comics just as a whole, which is just then manga as it is, $40 billion as far as a media kind of empire. Dragon Ball by itself, 27 billion. what, 8 billion in merch, 6 billion in video games, 2 billion in home video, 1 billion in cards, 9 billion in manga, and then Gundam at 27 billion. So like it is a situation where there is plenty of money to be made doing all of this. And you've seen things like Detective Pikachu, which actually did pretty well, let alone that's live action. Go back to Pokemon the movie way back, and the note, like I believe Demon Slayer actually broke a record from Pokemon the movie that it held back in the day because Pokemon Fever was blowing up when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? So like it is such an untapped resource, and if what Hollywood really wants again is to continue to harp on IP, I get it. Harry Potter, Woody Woo, you already did it. Why don't you try something new and tap an untapped source? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it feels like this is, Hollywood's about making money. And if they see an opportunity to make money, they're going to jump at it with both feet, right? As soon as superhero movies started to be popular, all of a sudden, you've got all these studios who are putting out their version of superhero movies or exploring what rights they have in IP that they have to turn into a movie. So I would not be surprised if we start seeing more and more of a push. And we're seeing, I think, the video game to live action adaptations that have improved so much over the last few years. I think that's another motivation for the anime, people involved with animes, to explore the possibility of live action and doing massive and better theatrical adaptations of their stuff, because anime is it's very, how can I say this? It has its own unique style. It's a very emotional genre of movies or TV shows as well. But also they're darker and they're making commentary, right? I mean, Winston, you can speak to this. They're making commentary about political commentary, social commentary, financial commentary. They're making all kinds of commentary about society, and it's not all happiness,
Not even close. I mean, two of my favorite and two of the most popular animes of all time in Attack on Titan and Death Note are literally Attack on Titan. It is a kind of an allegory for World War II and the Holocaust, and then the idea of essentially the characters that are essentially representing what the Jews were in World War II, and this idea of being like, you know what, y'all ain't ever gonna mess with us ever again, and then just deciding to start war with the world. Like that is what that is about. The Death Note is about a kid that finds a notebook from a death god, from a Shinigami, and essentially whoever's name you write in the notebook, they're going to die. If you put more specifics, you can be very specific about how they die, but essentially if you don't, you just write their true name, then they will have a heart attack within like 60 seconds or something. This kid is very smart and then decides he wants to be the god of the new world and starts deciding he's essentially Dexter. He's like, I'm going to just start killing criminals and I'm going to make the world free of criminals. And then people are like, you can't just murder people. So this has to stop what he goes by the moniker of Kira or Killer, to stop Kira from essentially just murdering people left and right. You really get at the heart and soul of so many interesting moral dilemmas, emotional trauma, all sorts of stuff throughout anime. Another major one, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but Full Metal Alchemist, specifically the Brotherhood version. Oh my God, same thing. Are you willing to sacrifice human lives in order to save a loved one? Almost a full anime about the trolley problem. And really what that means to sacrifice somebody for someone you love and vice versa. It's so, yes, anime goes there the way that the N used to do. For those that, were Degrassi and shit, it goes there. Anime does that shit. And I absolutely love that this is what's starting to happen now.
Yeah. And you're bringing up some ones that have like broken through, but there are so many. If you go into Crunchyroll's like library, you're just like blown away about even where to start, and this seems like a genre that if you're into it, now is the time to like create videos and explore and, put stuff out that's easy for people to access who want to get into it, because the thing is, we love to be entertained. So many of us who go to movies or watch TV shows, we seek the new entertainment, the next thing to be excited about. It was superhero movies, and we've seen that they're kind of bumpy over the last few years. So it's like, okay, where can I go to have some real great art? And anime is a possibility. So I'm I'm definitely gonna explore them. I know people have recommended Attack on Titan like crazy to me, so I definitely gotta watch that.
You would genuinely love it. The twist, the animation style, the commentary, genuinely about essentially trying to what we just talked about trying to evil Knievel this gap that continues to grow.
Yeah.
And no matter what the people are, whether it be the American people right now, whether it be Israel and Palestine, whether it be whoever, it is so interesting to have a conversation about like, well, you killed my uncle and my auntie and my cousin, so I'll never forgive you. It's like, well, you just murdered my whole neighborhood. I'll never forgive you. And this back and forth of like, if y'all don't find something, this will never stop. Eventually, everybody gonna be dead. And it's just, it's so good, man. It's so good.
I gotta open the possibilities of all of that. Yeah, and you know, as I said, I remember Vampire Hunter D. I remember Perfect Blue. I remember Akira. Like these are the things, and I am a massive Ghost in the Shell person. I love Ghost in the Shell, and Ghost in the Shell 2 Innocence is one I go back to all the time. Something about Batu, just that's a John Roca character. Like I immediately love Batu as a character, and I love that second film so much. So yeah.
Some other recommendations. Check out Rurouni Kenshin. It's a little bit older, but I love that. Definitely Yu Yu Hakusho is fire. Oh God, there was I mean anything Miyazaki. That's the only thing I think Americans know as a whole on anime is they have probably heard of a Miyazaki film at some point or another, whether it's Totoro or Princess Mononoke or Howl's Moving Castle or Kiki's Delivery Service. I guarantee they've probably heard of at least one. And he has his own very unique Miyazaki style, obviously styling to his art. But if at any point anybody has seen one of those and went, wow, that was really good, do I have a catalog of media for you? Like just hey, it only goes up. It only goes up. Like that is the tip top of like peak, but there is so much stuff that falls in that same level of emotional depth.
Might be time to explore it. I've had many people over the years push me to open the door to animes. It might be time to explore it. You know, it might be time. We'll see. All right. Anything more to say on this, Winston, before we move on? Anything more you want to add to the Demon Slayer box office situation or anything like that for anime?
I think the only thing that makes me sad is because this is now a trilogy of movies that are wrapping up the series. And it's not like, hey, we're doing something that's kind of starting off here. The odds are the box office for this is going to completely tank weekend 2, like worse than normal, because all the people that know of it, that wanted to see it, have now seen it. So you'll get some repeat customers, but like, my mom's not going to this. She went to like Black Panther because they're like, it's what? Okay, cool. I'll give that a shot. But like, this is not the thing, because anime, again, I think is now hitting another revolution in stride. It's not there yet where I think that it's going to, bro, it did another 40 million. That's not, I don't see that happening.
Well, the numbers are, the numbers for the walk up. It was clear that walk up on the opening weekend was not strong. People had bought tickets ahead of time. But the next day, or I say what it was a Sunday, I think they said like the numbers stayed strong. So there may be better numbers or less of a drop than people think going into a second weekend, but we will see. That's going to really let us know where anime is in terms of the moviegoers' interest. I think the second week is going to show us if it's not a significant drop compared to other anime films, then I think that's going to open the door for these studios to really go like, wait a minute, we should get this in motion. And Star Wars is doing anime within Visions every season. So, why not that? Yeah.
Like I said, I'm going to expect the worst here, not from being a pessimist, but just from the standpoint of, again, we're coming in the middle of a story. This would essentially be like, even though they're doing a trilogy with these, this would be like releasing Return of the King. And unless you had been somebody that was watching, Fellowship and Two Towers as a TV series for the last years, you're interested in going, but everybody else can be like, well, who the hell is this little gremlin over here trying to take this little ring? What that about? Like, you would just be confused, because that's the whole reason I haven't gone to see it, because since I haven't seen the show, I don't want to walk into this movie and genuinely just be lost. That's why I think it's going to have that drop off, with the exception of folks that want to see it a second time. But I don't think that's going to be enough to prevent it from going, it'll definitely at that 60% drop off, if not significantly worse, in my opinion.
Yeah. Good point. Yeah. That's why I haven't seen it either, because I haven't seen an episode of this. And everybody I read said like, you can't even do like a previously on. It's not even going to be enough. There's so much to watch. And even Dan Merle, who I hosted the show, the Christian Holoff show with on Monday, he said to me, he's like, I watched everything and I was still a little lost in the movie because they introduced new characters in the movie that you haven't seen before. And you're like, wait, did I see this person before? Because they're talking with him like he's been a part of the story the whole time. And so it's all of that as well that's involved. So yeah, it's a good point.
There you go.
All right, well, let us know what you thought about this conversation with anime. Where do you think it's at? Where do you think it's going? What do you think about Demon Slayer's box office? And what are the next steps? Should be happy. Let us know in the comment section below. Or if you're watching along here with us live, please make sure you leave your comments and leave your Streamlabs super chats so we can read your thoughts and comments on the air. All right, let's move on to some comic book news. Speaking of superhero movie news, let's do this thing here. Today they dropped a Fantastic Four deleted scene because Fantastic Four is coming out on Monday on digital, I think on Monday. And you've got Paul Walter Hauser. It's a scene with Paul Walter Hauser's Mole Man and Vanessa Kirby's Invisible Woman, Sue Storm. There, she is walking down to talk to him about issues going on in the underworld. And it does highlights Winston, like where their relationship is. It furthers that relationship, but it really just shows how much in charge of things Sue is. What do you think of the scene? What do you think of the back and forths? And why do you think it was cut?
I thought the scene was great. I thought that it, for a number of reasons, I think it shows, for those that don't know, currently Sue is kind of the new leader of the Fantastic Four, and not because kind of what they showed a little bit in the movie. It's not because Reed isn't smart, but he's definitely, it's kind of like the Ninja Turtles almost. Donatello is clearly the smartest of the turtles, but doesn't necessarily always have the social skills, the kind of strategic mentality to lead a team and keep things together. Sue has always in that way been the glue, not only from the standpoint of like the relationships of how stuff go, but just like she can kind of anchor everybody. She get her brother to stop acting like an ass. You know, she's one of the ones that really recognizes Ben's humanity constantly. Whenever he wants to call himself a monster, she's the one to be like, no, you're not. You're not a monster. You're more than that. And being an anchor to keep Reed, for otherwise Reed would be in his damn lab all day. He would just be like, I just thought of a whole other thing, and would do that. She has always been the one to do it. So I thought it was a natural transition to do that in the books, and I thought they did it well in the movie, but this would have, in my opinion, solidified it even more. Is to see her actually out. Don't send Reed down there and be like, you know, I can outthink you a million ways, Mole Man. I can whatever. But for her to be like, what's the problem? What's going on? As this, that, and the other. Okay, well, don't make threats, because Johnny will burn everybody and I'll pop your brain with the bubble, bro. I'll do it. But I hear you. What do you need? And then negotiating. That sounds exactly like the type of thing Sue would do. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was a missed opportunity, but I also understand if you're like, I need to make this movie go a little bit faster. I think the concern was where do we cut for time? And I think that's why, because you could still get by with the story without seeing it. I just think it's a missed opportunity.
I'm with you. I would like to have seen more. That's one of the criticisms I had about the movies. I wanted more with Paul Walter Hauser as Mole Man. I wanted to explore this relationship he has with Sue and the relationship he has with Reed, because we're kind of handed that in the movie. If you haven't read a comic book, you would know why Mole Man has an issue with Reed and what the whole problems are. And so I think the film kind of failed at being able to convey that. And so more scenes like this would have allowed them to still kind of leave that out a little bit more, but you got it because it would give you a better understanding of their interactions and relationship separately with Sue and Mole Man. And I thought it was a really well acted scene. I thought it was well shot. I like the moment where her pregnancy kind of causes her to stumble a little bit, and he shows genuine care. Like, what do you need? What's going on? Like, even though they're battling about like who's gonna help with the sewer system and why aren't his people involved with clearing up the sewage, he genuinely cares about her. And so that was a nice little moment that really could have worked to show that just because you have difference of opinions and you're very clear how different your opinions are, it doesn't mean you can't also still be human with each other, so to speak. And so I agree with you. I thought the scene was really good. They should have included it, but probably cut it for time. I do think this is ironically one of those films they cut for time that worked against it. They maybe should have added a few more minutes to really flesh things out a bit more, Winston.
I think that what they probably did is between her early on at like the UN And then her speech to the crowds trying to call for Franklin's head, essentially to like give up the kid. I think that they were like, we've actually got two very big examples of her showing her diplomatic side and showing she's a leader. So which of these three least moves the story forward? And it's 1,000% the deleted scene. I don't. Again, I think it's a missed opportunity. You should have kept it. But if you were told, I need you to delete one of the scenes, that's one that is of those three that show Sue in that position, that is the one to delete, because she won't get it. But there's an argument to be made of some sort of award acknowledgement for her speech about Franklin. I think that there are much stronger performances in movies this year that I don't think that we're gonna see that, but it gave me Ramonda vibes of have I not given everything? It was the same thing of like, I'm not gonna give up my son, but I'm not gonna give up my neighbors. Like we need like so.
Yeah, we need to find that middle ground. That's a great point, dude. All right, so we'll see what happens, what more we get, because I'm sure they're going to release some more stuff here to hype up the film coming out on digital next week. And speaking of which, Superman will be out on HBO Max on Friday. So for those of you who missed it in the theater or don't subscribe, or sorry, you didn't miss it in theater or didn't want to get it digitally, you can now watch it on HBO Max if you have a subscription. So that'll be on Friday. So look for that. And let's stay in the superhero realm. Let's talk about this, Winston. This is Alex Perez over there at Cosmic Circus. He was having one of his Patreon Q&As. You guys should definitely check out Alex. They have a good crew over there. And he was asked about the Wanda situation in Avengers Doomsday. And he was asked here by Red Giardos 10. Hey, Alex, assuming she's in it, what role will Wanda play in Doomsday? In the past, you've hinted at a couple of possibilities, including Wanda and Doom as allies and Magneto's, quote, family reunion. I'm curious how it all fits together. Well, here's what Alex said. In an unofficial capacity, I heard, so that basically means he's heard the rumor, I heard we'd be getting a Wanda variant from the X-Men universe that we'll see in Avengers Doomsday, which is a universe where Magneto is finally ruling Genosha as he had always pictured it. And we'd have like a, quote, royal family type of situation with Eric, Pietro, Wanda, and Polaris. This is an idea that has been pushed since Multiverse of Madness and then Deadpool and Wolverine, but it never feels like the right fit because it feels like it takes away from the overall plot. However, the main point they would like to explore with Wanda is the father-daughter relationship with Eric. And certainly, Winston, that's something we've been missing from the Wanda storyline is Magneto. And so do you like this idea? Do you like this possibility? Is this the reason Ian McKellen is coming back? What are your thoughts on this? Or is it fast?
I do, but Genosha, House of M, like a lot of that stuff is so deep and so emotionally tied. I get concerned about trying to pigeonhole it because that to me is why both Phoenix sagas, live action Phoenixes, failed. You try to shove what is an entire saga. That storyline is not a movie.
Yeah, no,
that is a saga from her getting the powers, saving the universe, and then essentially the Phoenix being so addicted to emotion, and especially Jean because of her high level of empathy via her telepathy and all that kind of stuff, gets drunk off of that power and starts to lose her mind, and then gets just as intrigued by all other heightened emotions. So murder and sex and all these other things that are bringing emotions out. And you tried to do that both times in a 2 to 2.5 hour long movie. That is absurd. That is genuinely crazy. That is a trilogy by itself, if not at least 2 movies.
Yeah.
You know, like Phoenix and then Dark Phoenix. Like that's at minimum, it should have been that, if
Good
not
point.
a whole ass trilogy.
Yeah.
So that being said, I don't love the idea of a speed running Genosha.
Okay.
I don't hate the idea of introducing that kind of stuff, but then is Ian sticking around?
Right.
Like, are we keeping this version of the Maximoff family? Like, what? Right. How are we going about that? Because again, if you're just gonna tease me with this and then take it from me, I will riot at dawn.
Well, I was looking up how old Ian McKellen is. He is 86. I think Elizabeth is just barely in her late 30s, if I'm not wrong. So I don't know if he would necessarily pass as her dad, right? What is she, 36? Yeah. So I wonder if it'll be Fassbender. I wonder if it'll be Fassbender instead of Ian. And does Fassbender stick around as Magneto? I don't know. And who comes back? We saw Evan Peters in the WandaVision series, but will it be Aaron Taylor Johnson who plays Pietro? And who's playing Polaris, which I think will be interesting to see that as well. I like this as an idea, and I like this as a concept. It's fun. But but as we saw in Multiverse of Madness, that kind of winking to the fans and then having them rip their bodies into pieces and kill them all, that left a really bad taste in some people's mouths. And so I wonder if they're doing the same thing here. Yes, it's cool to get the fan service, but if it's not going to be fan service that makes sense, that's organic and serves the story, then I think that's going to undercut the movie so much, don't you think?
I think it genuinely would. And I think that, like, again, that is something that would want to be explored. Like, I would, when we get into this next X-Men saga post Secret Wars, No More Mutants, House of M was so good and so heart-wrenching. Right. And the idea that Wanda literally was losing her mind. And like, that was the other thing that kind of sucked about Multiverse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Is you teed up her to be genuinely distraught about losing her kids.
Yeah.
And you did a speed run through the idea of, I'm just getting him back. I'm gonna get him back. I'm gonna get him back. Watch me. I'm gonna get him back. Like, the number of things that she has done in the past once she loses, Billy and oh my God. My brain just fried.
Right. The two kids. Yeah.
Wiccan and Speed. I know their hero names. For some reason, I cannot remember.
Billy and Tommy.
Tommy. There it is. Tommy. The lengths she kind of goes to in all of that, and like even lashes out at like Vision at one point and all that, but then it ultimately pushes her to use her powers to the nth degree to make House of M. And then when ultimately that all comes undone, and it's mainly mutants that are like the X-Men and whatnot being like, girl, what are you doing? You warped reality. And she's like, I made you a paradise. I didn't know this. You know what? Fuck it. No more mutant. And then boom, you just literally evaporated like 95% of the entire mutant population.
Yeah.
It was absolutely crazy. So I really, 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 really do not need them to truncate that build up and that breakdown. It better be the entire story of the movie then, and Doom is somehow manipulating things. If that's what you're gonna do, it better be the whole movie. It is not a B or a C plot. That is an A plot ass storyline. Don't do this.
I don't disagree. And I as we're talking, my mind starts going, and some of the things you said here, if we do the House of M thing, if we do that kind of stuff, like that's essentially what was alluded to in Logan, that a version of House of M happened, which is what led to Logan killing all these people that he killed, and he's carrying the weight of it. So are they going to wrap Logan into Doomsday or into Secret Wars? I wonder. I just wonder if they're going to do that, because I know everyone's been like, don't touch Logan, don't touch Logan. And certainly Deadpool and Wolverine essentially touched Logan, not too hard, but essentially touched Logan. I would not be surprised, because it is under the Disney's purview that they would go and connect things to Logan as well, which would be fascinating to see if they see them do that, which would scare me on so many levels, you know? So we'll see. All right, we got 150 of you joining us right now. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Having so much fun talking about all the stuff going on in the world of entertainment. Please make sure to hit a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Send in your Streamlabs and Superchats. We will get to them near the end of the show. All right, so let's keep going. Winston, let's talk about you want to get into this? Let's get into this. Let's get into this. Before we get into the NFL, let's get into these guys fake fighting before we see some real fighting in the NFL. So you want to take this, man, explain what happened here, because sometimes I don't put all the facts in order here. What happened here today on the Breakfast Club?
So Damon Dash had an interview on the Breakfast Club. He wanted to come in because Charlamagne and DJ Envy will make a lot of reference to Dame, a lot of stuff that'll come out in tabloids or stuff on the internet, whatever. and some of it real news, but Dame insists that it's all fake. It's all being made up to mess with him and stuff like that, right? So he comes on, and it feels like Dame is either on something or his mind slipping, or maybe he's just that dude like that, but all sorts of almost feels like conspiracy theories against him, and then starts throwing out stuff that's just ridiculous. Like starts calling Charlamagne gay and says, I don't think you're a real version of masculinity. You know what I'm saying? Your OG is Wendy Williams. My OG is this dude right here, but your OG is Wendy Williams, right? And she working gossip. That's a feminine trait. You know what I'm saying? You gay. And he's like, do you have a problem with gay people? No, I ain't got no problem with gay people, but you gay. He's like, and you're broke. Like they literally became a back and forth of just like him essentially calling Charlamagne gay the whole time. Charlamagne calling him out for being broke, starting to try and have the conversation about, okay, well, you filed for bankruptcy. How did that happen? Where was that coming from? Dame trying to be like, I know how money works. You don't know how money works. Like, it was insane. And I've only seen the first half hour of this like hour 10 long interview. Multiple times he tries to get up and leave like Birdman. Like it was crazy. It was kind of hilarious, but it was genuinely crazy because it also reminded me of like the Soulja Boy interview, who constantly was like, no, Soulja, Drake. Like it just was very just my God. And it makes sense why at a certain point it sounds like Jay-Z was like, you know what, bro? Yeah, we're but like what he claims, I don't know if this was announced today or not, but he claims in the interview he's the new chairman of Revolt. Which if he is, congratulations. But like at one point, like he says it's not announced yet, and he goes, and like they're talking about something else, but he says that, and they go, you're not gonna congratulate me? And they go, you were talking about something else, but congrats, I guess. Like I don't what like it's crazy. It's genuinely crazy, but it's, if you want a good laugh of just seeing somebody seem a little unhinged, it's worth it to watch just for that.
I mean, it's crazy. Let's. I'm seeing if I can play the clips and if I can get away with stopping every 5 seconds on the clip. So, like, this is him like smacking away his hand when he tries to hold his hand
like a girl.
So are you?
No, I'm not. Okay, let's unpack that.
Come on,
man. He tries to swing. People are. And some of them are uncomfortable, some of them are laughing, but you see it clearly. But this section that they put online is like 5 minutes
for 6 months
of just going back and forth. And Dame keeps getting up to Dame here, and he keeps complaining that Charlamagne is cutting him off. And then every few seconds, he gets up, grabs his 2 phones, does his button, starts to walk out, and sits back down again. Like, it is a constant getting up, and there he is again, getting up, walking around, then sit back down again, getting up, walking out, sitting back down again, getting up, walking up, sit back down again.
Over and over
again. So it is a fascinating situation that went down, and a hell of a watch for sure. But, but the thing I want to talk about is the accusations of masculinity, right? These are the conversations that we're having nowadays about this stuff, because I think we're in a transitional place. There are people who still want to keep us in this place that masculinity is beating people up. Masculinity is, do you look like you can beat people up?
That's
right. Dame even said, like, the way you run, the way you walk like a girl, you run like a girl.
Specifically focused on so for those that aren't familiar with this moment, Charlamagne the God at one point, because he talked a lot of shit. And as a matter of fact, hold on, I actually think I have the video. I can play it for you super quickly. Charlamagne has talked a lot of shit over the years, and he was talking a lot of shit about Lil' Kim. Here we go. Let me hit share. And essentially he was outside the studio at one point, and people saw him, and they came to just beat the ever-loving shit out of Charlamagne. Charlamagne ran. So here it is real quick.
Can I get a drop? What's up with y'all in these drops, man? I need a drop, son.
Oh.
I need a drop, baby. What's up? Come on. Let's get a drop.
Wow.
So
right.
What Dame said, Dame goes, see, a real man don't run. A real man either wins that fight or takes an ass whooping. What? Bro, if my wife or my child is also being attacked, you're goddamn right. But I'm gonna fight 5 is by myself, and potentially that, like, because you don't even know how far of an intention they're willing to take it if they're about to kill you or something like that. So you're gonna sit there and just take a 5-on-1 ass beating. That's insane. That's not masculinity. That's being a fucking moron. And like in my opinion, to sit there and take that. But again, it would be completely different if like your family's there, then you fight to the fucking death. I will sit there and I will take the beating so that they can survive or some shit. You know what I'm saying? That's completely different. That is not what that was.
No. And Dame references like I don't know about this, but his battle with 30 guys who apparently beat him up or knocked out his teeth or whatever. And so I don't know how much of that is true, how much of it isn't. But yeah, I mean, like, standing there and fighting 5 people, that's sure, I guess in some Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham movie, it really works. But in real life, you could legitimately experience terrible situations because you don't know how far these guys are going to go. And God forbid you start winning. How far would they go to take you out? Dude,
unless my name is Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Jackie Chan, I'm not staying to fight 20 dudes. Like even Jackie Chan says in almost every movie, I don't want trouble. He beats the ever-loving shit out of the 20 dudes trying to jump him. But the whole time he's doing it, but I didn't want trouble. And then he leaves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not fighting because he wants to. He's fighting to defend himself. Right. And because he knows he's capable enough to do it, but even in most of those, he's still kind of running away. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's fighting enough to run. Like,
yeah, exactly. He doesn't want to get involved in it. But I also think Charlamagne a little bit was poking Dame on purpose. He was feeling it's his show. He's in his home field, and Charlamagne, instead of just letting Dame go, he kept like undercutting him and taking little shots. And they seemed, I thought initially it was just ball busting between friends, but it's clear that, at least from what I saw, that they're not friends, and it was taken in a different way. And he just kept pushing it, right? And so it just went. But the gay, calling him gay and all that kind of stuff, I just thought that's just standard toxic masculine shit. It doesn't really, it doesn't really move the needle. And if you have any masculinity in you, you don't need to step on other people to inflate your masculinity. It's just kind of weird how that's been that mentality has taken hold as a pushback to men nowadays being more available to their emotions. It's mind blowing.
Yeah. I mean, I think like a lot of things we're seeing right now, there is this, we've seen it in a lot of like fantasy stuff and like a Game of Thrones or whatever, this idea of you see a creature like a gladiator is a good example of, you're dying, like you can feel the death rattle coming, but this surge of adrenaline kicks in and you're stronger than you've ever been, and somehow, like, even though you have mortal wounds, you're still fine. That is what I feel a lot with everything from the idea of the toxic masculinity and the red pill stuff, all the stuff that's being pushed right now. Now, unfortunately, I feel like a lot of the things that are being pushed from, like taking back women's rights and gay rights and everything else, I think that unfortunately they're gaining a little more ground, you would think. But this is coming from a place of like, oh my God, my way of life is going away forever. So it is a final stand to try and push back. You know what I'm saying? And so you're seeing a lot of like old heads of random people saying shit like this. And it's just like, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like there is a level of being tough, that I think that there, sometimes society has gotten a little soft and can't take criticism or lickings or whatever else, but that is not what is being pushed. Right. It's being pushed back to the full blown way of how things were. And that doesn't make sense anymore.
No, it doesn't. And the people trying to, as I say, walk us back into the Stone Ages with their knuckles dragging on the concrete, that is not going to help anybody. It's not going to help us at all. And it isn't going to make this world a better place in any way, shape, or form. And most of the people who push that kind of stuff, like, to be honest with you, as someone who served, as someone who's known quite a few dudes who can take people out, when I watch them crow about it, these are not the most manly men who are out here screaming about masculinity, the need to return to masculinity, a lot of them are dweebs and dorks. And so it's just like they've just kind of, what is it? Taken on the mantle of this kind of masculinity from other guys who have actually worked out, actually in shape, actually are special forces dudes. They've kind of co-opted that. And it's like, I look at you and I go, nothing about you is man. Like Jesse Waters, they ain't a goddamn masculine bull in that dude's body. Or Greg Gutfeld. I mean, come on, that little munchkin, get out of here. These are not manly men that are out here pushing this stuff. There are some, of course, but most of the guys on that side of the aisle pushing that toxic masculinity shit are a bunch of dorks. And so I just think this is madness to see that kind of stuff.
And the thing that's so crazy about it, a lot of them that are pushing it that hard, they were also the ones that their daddy used to beat the hell out of them when they were kids.
Yes.
So part of it is unworked out trauma that you can't let go. That literally, even though we don't talk about that movie anymore because it's a little creepy and Kevin Spacey is extra creepy, that was kind of the whole point of the neighbor in American Beauty.
Oh,
that was a fully suppressed.
Yes,
because of how he was raised, and he was in the military, and so he was beating his own son, but he fully repressed his own homosexuality, and in that made a very toxic, very violent scenario.
Yeah. It's amazing how if people suppress who you are, how you might react. If people try to reject who you are for years, how you might react to that, how violently you might react to that. It's amazing how that can happen. Anyway, let's move on from that. Let's move into the sports section of our conversation. Before we start getting into the NFL, let's talk about this. You wanted to talk about this. Paige Bueckers here at the Jennifer Hudson show. I don't know how much of this we can show because it is their actual footage. She's dancing down the aisle, which is pretty cool. You know, she's doing her thing. People love her there, and people love her in her play. And she gets some movies. It's cool. She doesn't take attention to herself. She just does her thing. And then when she gets to the end here, she is apparently surprised. She is presented with the WNBA Rookie of the Year award. So, Winston, your thoughts on this? Well deserved. She wasn't a unanimous winner, but what do you think of the way this was presented?
She wasn't unanimous?
No, it was two other people voted for the Maryland player, Sonia Citron, out of the Mystics.
Oh, I mean, I guess I can see it, but I don't think so. Hold on. Let me for a second, because the thing is, the things that Paige was doing, were in the same vein of what we just saw Caitlin Clark do. Dropping insane 40-point games and stuff. Like it was not like absolutely nuts. And we got to keep it a buck that, like, obviously Caitlin helped raise that team, but how good that Fever team already was. They were just a big piece away, and Caitlin was the biggest piece you could get. And so there you go, which then drew more people in, and that's why they're in the playoffs now without her. Paige did everything she could. Her what was supposed to be either she was the 2 to this number 1 or the 1 to this number 2 in Enrique Agumawale got hurt. And so then she had to hold it down by herself. And then they got the injury bug throughout the team. You brought in Liu, and she gets hurt. So Paige did what she could, but the numbers she put up were absolutely insane. Let me pull her stats real quick. Where
I can read it.
If you have it.
Yeah. She was a starter in all 36 of her appearances for the Wings. She averaged 19.2 points, 5.4 assists, 3.9 rebounds, and 1.6 steals, while shooting 47.4% from the floor and 88.8% from the free throw line. She led all WNBA rookies in total points per game, total assists, and assists per game. And she was the only WNBA player this season who finished ranked in the top 10 in points, assists, and steals per game. And as I said, she got 70 out of 72 first place votes for the Rookie of the Year award. So the other two to Sonia Citron.
The only other thing with that's like kind of crazy to me is, like, if you even look what she shot, 47.7 from the field. She shot 33.1 from 3. She shot 88 from free throw. So she almost hit the what is it, the
Triple double or
the 40, 30, 90.
Oh yeah.
Or 50, 30, 90, whatever that number is and whatnot. She almost hit that, which is crazy. And like I went to 2 of the games that she played in, one of which she set a career high, which like it's funny because Kelsey Plum was pissing me off talking about, it's not great when like you're at home and like people are cheering so hard for the other team. It's like, no, we're cheering for Paige, who had 43. You don't like it? Play some fucking defense, all right? Like my girl was cooking, bro. And so she just was so incredibly phenomenal in what she did. And it looked like she was genuinely surprised because she noticed the commissioner. She goes, "Oh, the commissioner's here. That's cool." Right, and then she took another look and said, "Oh shit!" Like she realized what was happening, which is pretty awesome. But she's gonna be a superstar, man. And the only thing I can wait for going forward is we're about a year, 2 years away from Juju also making it to the dub. So then you're gonna have Paige and Caitlin and Juju all playing in the dub with already incredible players like Arike and Fee and Wilson and Kelsey. Oh, it's gonna be awesome, dude.
Yeah. And we might not see Angel Reese. Who knows, brother? Who knows at this rate with the way she fights,
man.
I mean, to end that season, it's not looking good for her there in Chicago, but we'll see with her. I think she's meant for something more than like I just feel like she should go be an influencer, go be a podcaster. She will make money without putting her body on the line the way that she is. She's already established herself, and I think there's more for her outside of the WNBA, you know?
I mean,
I just feel like that. That's just my opinion. Doesn't mean she shouldn't stay.
No. I get it, but like I think we got to put respect on the fact that like I still understand that as a post player, the number should be higher, but she like genuinely went and improved her shooting. Yeah, she shot 45.8 from the field and averaged 14.7 while still what was she doing on boards still? While still averaging 12.6 on boards. Like just for reference, obviously Fee and Wilson, we're averaging significantly more points at 23.4 and 22.9. But they're at 50.5 and 53.1. And Angel got herself all the way up to 45.8 when she was like at around 20 something last season. I think there's something that has to be said about how she actually did improve her game, but it's much more fun to hate on her than anything else. It doesn't mean she doesn't do herself some disservice at times.
Right.
But there's respect that's got to be put on her name that she really did improve this year.
Yeah. No, 100%. I just feel like she's been complaining about the WNBA since she came into the WNBA. And look, they're legitimate complaints. It just feels like this isn't where she's happiest. So like for her mental health, get out of here and go and do other things. You're already an influencer. Go and do other things. I think you're going to be happier doing that, in my opinion. All right, let's move on to week 2 of the NFL. Winston, your thoughts? A lot of big games, including this Chiefs Eagles game. Like you said, they're 2-0, the Eagles, but we also lost Joe Burrow to a toe injury for about 3 months. So we'll see what Browning can do there as well. Jaden Daniels has a knee injury. We'll see if we see him on Sunday. Then you've got JJ McCarthy, who was not playing well for the Vikings. He's gone down as well. And so this is an interesting weekend of stories. What stood out to you? What's the ones you want to talk about real quick?
I think we officially have to put to bed for the time being this idea of Burrow being a leader or just below that class. I think if you go and look at Madden, for example, and they love to do that and try and keep it as real as possible. That's why you have all the stats. He's got all the stats for deep ball and accuracy and all the kind of stuff that you would want out of a quarterback, but his injury rating is sky high. And like every other coach I've ever had in a sport has said, your biggest ability is your availability. If your ass is literally not playing over 50% of the games each year, how do we actually stand a chance of winning? Like, why am I paying you $1 bajillion for you to sit on the sideline and get surgeries? Now, it doesn't mean that I don't love Joey B and all that, and I hope the best, and I hope he gets better, but I think it's officially done because part of it is, I think, the Bengals' fault in that they did not put a good line for him for those first few years, so he got destroyed. But I think at this point, his body has finally just kind of given out to that these things continue to happen. Or maybe he was forcing himself to keep going, and in doing so, caused a different injury because he's overcompensating. Like, however it's happening, I think that he officially falls out of that category now, which sucks. Until we see him come back healthy and be around for an extended period, I think that conversation is over, sadly. Because even Dak has a bunch of bad injuries, but I've seen him play at least a season and a half to 2 seasons to 3 seasons, but then something happens. You know what I'm saying? Not like, okay, we're back. Ooh, he's out for the next 6 weeks. Okay, he made it. Oh, we made the playoffs. Cool. Ooh, okay, we're done. All right, he's in. Oh, damn, he's out for the season. That's a knee tear. Damn. Okay, he's back. Oh, he's out for the next 3 weeks. Okay, we got to make a push. I think I think the conversation there is unfortunately over.
Yeah, his season ended after 10 games in his rookie year with an ACL, MCL, and PCL injury and meniscus injury there. Then in 2021, he played through a dislocated pinky to get the Bengals to the Super Bowl. And in 2022, he had some knee pain throughout, sprained his MCL in the Super Bowl loss, and missed most of training camp in 2022. Then in 2023, he missed time in the preseason after suffering a strained calf. And in week 10, he tore a ligament in his right wrist, which was the end of the season for him. He came back, of course, last year and played well. But right now, Burrow has played in 71 out of a possible 85 games, which is around 84% of the time. That isn't so bad, but it is meaningfully lower than Lamar Jackson, who played in 105 of 118 games, which is 89%, and Allen and Mahomes, who are 96% playing 113 out of possible 118 games. But if Burrow misses the next 12 games, like it's being prognosticated, he will finish the regular season having played in 74 out of a possible 100 games. That's only 74%, which is more in line with Andrew Luck. And that is not the company you want to be in.
Because that was the same thing. Andrew Luck is so insanely talented, but he kept getting hurt. It was a glass cannon. So it's like he's going to throw for 600 yards and 6 touchdowns on your ass.
Yeah.
And then the next game he throws for 100 yards and 1 touchdown, but all of a sudden he doesn't have a leg. And so then he's out for the rest of the season. You can't rely upon him in that regard. So that bummed me out. I think the Chiefs dynasty is, I wouldn't say it's over, but it doesn't look good. I know that Sean has apparently very conveniently not been around for shows nowadays because we have finally arrived at this point. We felt like Max Kellerman that was trying to say Brady fell off for years.
Yeah.
I think we're finally here because they did not look good. Because they better push hard to see if they can convince the Dolphins to release Tariq and trade him.
Yeah.
Because they need something. You have no vertical weapons. Kelsey is not Kelsey anymore.
Nope.
Pacheco has not returned to form.
Yeah. That interception was so bad. It was right in his hands. That was so bad. And then him throwing his helmet on the sideline, being all drama queen about it. That did not help things. So yeah, the Chiefs do not look good right now. The Packers look definitely like a formidable team again. They handled my Commanders. No surprise. We only had 4 days to prepare for them on the road, but they look good. But we lost 2 players, season-end injuries. Austin Eckler and Wise. Those are 2 good players on the team. So I don't know where the Commanders go.
Why y'all traded away Brian Robinson.
That
was really stupid to me.
It's exact thought I had, brother. I was like,
it was so stupid to me.
Yeah, agreed 100%.
Because just because you also know the rate at which running backs have a tendency to get hurt, and Eckler has already been hurt in the past.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make logical sense to me.
Yeah. And Purdy's out. Mac Jones stepping in for Purdy played really well as well.
Is Purdy out for an extended period, or was it just that game?
He's out for the next 3 weeks.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, good for Mac Jones on that, because, he did pull that, but the Saints aren't good, so that is what it is. Someone tried to be like, hey, you need to be scared of the Lions out. No, you beat up on the Bears. The Bears are also not good. If you bust a 52-pointer, like the next time you see Green Bay, if that's what you do to them, all the props in the world. Like, let me see who Detroit plays real quick, and let me say any of these teams, if you bust a 52-pointer on it, you can get props. This coming week, if you do that to the Ravens, I will say you're gonna win the Super Bowl. All right, but you're not dropping a 52 piece, a 52-21 on the Ravens. That's not happening.
Or even the Browns. That's a 1-2 punch of defenses. That if you can drop 52 on both those teams, then okay. you can be in the conversation again. But
do it against the people wanted to say the Bears are like a playoff contender now because you went and you got Ben Johnson and Caleb is now it's his time to shine and you got all these weapons and whatnot. Until the Bears actually show me something instead of what's on paper, miss me with that shit because then you just sound like Cowboys fans, just delusional. Be like, this is our year, fam. No, it's not. It's never our year. And like I loved that game that we played, but bro, you gave Russell Wilson 500 plus yards and 5 touchdowns. Like, that's not good. All right. That's good on you for having the resolve to finish because old Cowboys teams would not have. But that's not good. We have a lot of injuries, but that's not good, bro. So
those damn moon balls of his, man, it's fucking ridiculous. It's like watching playground ball, and you're like, he just heaves it up in the air and hangs there for like 30 minutes before it comes down. It's mind blowing.
It is, and he's the best in the game at doing it. But I think part of the whole thing, truthfully, if we're just being real.
Yeah.
I mean, we are littered with injuries. You just paid Bland, and then Bland like broke his foot or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you don't, and on top of that, you literally traded away a generational talent pass rusher. So you're giving Jalen Hurts and Russell Wilson all day to decide, am I gonna throw this crazy ball or am I just gonna run it up your throat? Like that has to change. So we've signed Clowney. Clowney to me, I don't think that that's going to be as much of a hooray as they think it is. But
I mean, there was a reason he was still hanging out there. You know,
there's a reason. There is a reason. And last little bit, Miami needs to fire McDaniel immediately.
Done after that press conference, and they got to go. Tua is clearly having concussion issues, bro. Like you got to get rid of them both.
They're both done. They're both done.
Toast.
Absolute toast. Like you absolutely done. They both got to go. And the tush push has to go. After finally seeing in slow motion how much false start bullshit happens, nah, bro. That's and people are gonna be like, oh, if you could do it, you would do it too. It's like, yeah, but if it's legitimately cheating now, if that's what we're talking about, then no. If y'all cannot do it without committing heinous false starts, you don't need to be doing it at all. It's got to go.
I think that was Frankie Louvu's way of protesting it last year. Like by jumping over, constantly getting those offside calls, because he knew he was like, this is ridiculous. They're absolutely false starting every single damn time and getting away with it. So I'm going to fuck with them, you know. And I think there was a nice little protest in that way. I think you were right about your Buccaneers, man. Mayfield had that chutzpah to bring them all the way back. He had that dog in him to win that game last night against those Texans. The Texans looked in trouble. The Texans looked at. I mean.
Stroud a bust now, bro.
Stroud's like, Trevor Lawrence territory, bro. Stroud is absolutely Trevor Lawrence territory. There's no way. Yeah.
Oh my God. And you know what it is? It's so funny, bro. It reminds me of Macklemore. Macklemore was kind of on this tear, right? And I'd never really rocked with him. I always thought he was corny, but he was on this tear. And then he won a Grammy. And then went out and dropped leaked text to Kendrick being like, it shouldn't have been me, dog. It should have been you. I don't know what they were thinking. These white people are crazy, man. This is so nuts, bro. First of all, that's weird to send those texts in the first place. But to put that out in public is crazy sauce. And CJ Stroud's version of that, right after beating on Caleb Williams, hey, man, look, once you've been in this game a while, you got a little bit of experience, man, all of a sudden that's going to be it. You're just going to click for you. You're going to be that guy. Like, I'm that guy. You just need to keep on hustler, and you'll get there, Playboy. And guess what happened to CJ Stroud pretty much after that got caught on camera when they were hugging at the end and shit? Yeah. He has been doo-doo water since that conversation. I think that Caleb Williams hired the witches that have been going very viral for like a bunch of hexes they put out in the world or whatever. I think Caleb Williams hired a similar hex on CJ Stroud, being like, may he never be prosperous again. And then all of a sudden, just making bad decision after bad decision.
I'll tell you a team to look out for. Look, Daniel Jones and those Colts, I guess you got to start thinking that they might be for real. And I think the Cardinals, man, watch out. Kyler Murray, they've been playing well the last couple of games. So I wonder if they may be a contender in that division beyond playing just 500 ball. I wonder. I just have a feeling about the Cardinals and the Colts here now.
I need you to take a step back and look at who they played. Just for a second.
I know.
No, don't do this. Don't do this. I need you to take a step back. They played the Saints, who we have all admitted was going to be bad.
Yes.
And then they played the Panthers, who have remained bad.
You talk about Cardinals. Yeah. But the on the other side with the Colts, the Denver defense, that's a strong defense. And Daniel Jones made mincemeat out of them. Yes, it took a penalty call to save the game, but still, they won.
But I will give them beating the Broncos. But we already just said the Dolphins were bad. So you got one legitimate win, and one I'll give it to you also legitimate because it was an ass whooping. It was 33-8. So I will give you both of those wins, right? Titans are also bad. So they're probably, if they lose this game, that's not good on them. Right. Even if it's a division rival, but they should win this game. So their first major challenge is going to be the Rams, which the Rams look good. They don't look great. They look good though. Yeah, so like I don't see a real threat to the Colts until we get to the Chargers. Yeah. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. They stand to essentially be 6-0 before they play a real team.
I think the schedule is doing them a lot of favors. Their schedule right now, because like the Titans are not going to offer any problem. The Raiders aren't going to have a problem. The Cardinals might be a tough matchup, depending on how good the Cardinals are. And then you said the Chargers, right? Titans, no. Steelers might be dog shit by the time they play them. I mean, we finally saw who the Steelers are for real against the Seahawks over the weekend. I mean, everyone's crowing about them last week because they scored that many points on the Jets, but they also gave up that many points on the Jets. And we saw how bad that defense is now. And Tomlin's in trouble, dude. And Rodgers is going to start turning on this team. Listen, mark my words, 5 games. He'll start making passive-aggressive comments about the defense or about the team or Tomlin's coaching. Mark my words, 5 games or less, he'll be doing that shit.
Absolutely. But the Colts, here's the thing. They're probably a dark horse right now to be a top 1 or 2 seed potentially because of the strength of schedule. It's just not like it's an NFL game any given Sunday. I get that. But if we're just calling a spade of talent on a team, coaching, all that kind of stuff, they do not have a hard schedule. Because even you look at the Chiefs, that you would look at it and go, damn, you're definitely losing that. The Chiefs look vulnerable as hell right now. So that was like another big test that may not be like, it depends on what the Chiefs do. If they make trades, if they bounce back, whatever's going on. I look at this. I'm not worried about them for anything. Maybe the Seahawks, maybe the 49ers, but that's at the end of the year where you've probably already locked up the fact that you've won the division. I don't know, man. I don't know. We both had Daniel Jones in our division. I am aware that the Giants are just bad, but you're telling me you're scared of Danny Dimes now? Is that what you're telling me?
I don't know. You know, quarterbacks go to different places and they get reborn.
But see, Baker needed some time to do that. You're telling me that Daniel Jones did that in 2 seconds?
That dysfunctional Giants organization, man. You know, we just
maybe
can mess with you.
But he seems like a nice little goofball. For his sake, I hope that's the case. But I'll believe it when I see it. 2 games is not enough of a rubric to do that, or a quality win either.
Yeah, that's fair. I just love the fact that we're the NFL is back, man. And we're back in the knee deep of the craziness of all this stuff. I just love so many stories. All right, well that's it. Let's get into the questions here. But we do want to say one last thing, and that is, of course, a melancholy rest in peace to Robert Redford, who passed away today. Is one of my acting and directing and basically Hollywood heroes, but also human being heroes, because he supported so many great causes, used his platform to make change, and also was really great at what he did as his first vocation, which was acting and directing, winning the Oscar for Ordinary People, and delivering classic films like Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid, and The Sting and The Natural, so many great films. So yeah, just a sad passing away of Robert Redford. And of course, started the Sundance Film Institute, which launched so many careers, Winston. Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing. I also just feel it's sad to see that happen. I at least appreciate the fact that at this point, the more legends that we're losing just because of old age really feels kind of like a relief, because it feels like a lot of stuff is just going sideways. Either we're losing legends too early, like a Chadwick type situation, or because of the volatile world we live in, some wild happens, you know? So I am
yeah.
obviously sad to hear the news. I wasn't as big of a Redford fan. Like for me, I want to say the biggest, like I've seen him in stuff, but the biggest one that sticks out for me is him in Winter Soldier, which I thought he did a great job as Alexander Pierce, but I don't have as much of a connection as everybody else does, but rest in peace for sure.
Absolutely. 3 Days of Condor. So amazing stuff. There's so many amazing films that he made. And I think I'll be doing a live show tomorrow with me and Steve Morris from the Cinephiles talking about Robert Redford, his career and his effect on us. Or it'll be pre-recorded. We're figuring that out depending on the schedule I have set up for the channel tomorrow. So look for that as well. But let's get into the questions. Rest in peace, Robert. Oh yeah, go ahead, brother.
Before we get into the questions, I would also like to point out here,
yeah,
Daniel Jones in particular happens to do that well. No, yeah, because I needed to check something, and I realized this because of fantasy, and I happen to have this other player here. Daniel Jones in particular has a tendency to have these games where he looks like he's a god because he has a running back that is on legendary mode, is on all playing. It feels like the running back is playing all rookie, so it opens things up for Danny Dimes. So it was Saquon back in New York. Whenever Saquon got hurt, did you see how quickly the Giants went to dog shit? Well, guess who Daniel Jones has in Indianapolis? Jonathan Taylor, who in this last game had 165 yards on 25 carries. All right. So and then another 50 through the air and a touchdown. I think that Danny Dimes maybe just has some really good ass running backs around him, and that allows him to be able to say, look at me. Just throw it out there.
All right.
We'll now I'm off it.
Okay. You might be right. We'll find out for sure as the weeks go on. All right, let's get through these. I know we got limited time. So, what's your time limit here, Winston?
I'm okay. I'm not in a rush. So yeah, if we need to go a couple minutes over, no big deal.
Let's get through these. Okay. All right. Chris Corcoran says Trump's face was at half mast in that 9/11 memorial. I mean, it did look like he had a stroke, but he looks fine now. But it did look like he'd had something going on there.
It did not look good. And then it looked like either it was an AI message fully that he delivered about Kirk, or it was AI edited. That was not a good look. Whoever did that was a bad decision.
Yeah, that speech was absolutely AI. Oh my God, please. JMB says, Rocha, I know the live action may have soured you on it, but I think you'd really love Cowboy Bebop anime. Yes. Maybe you and Winston could do it together.
It is one of the best ever to do. It is so good. There's a reason why it wasn't just you, man. People that love Cowboy Bebop hated the live action adaptation.
Right.
Give it a shot. It is that's actually where I would tell you to start. It's short. I want to say it's only like 25 episodes, maybe. Hold on. You can ask the next question, but I highly recommend.
Vincent Zwaba says, RIP to Robert Redford, favorite movies of his. Well, I think I listed them all. I mean, The Natural is my first one always, every time. That's the first time I ever saw Robert Redford anything as a young teen. And so everything after that, though, just amazing discovering his work. All the President's Men, another incredible performance and very topical with what we're dealing with now.
Yeah. 26 episodes. You should.
Okay.
Easy.
That's half a year. That's not bad. I'm saying I could do one a week, you know.
If you want to do that, yes, you could, but you'll get
content. I want content. So
well, that's also fair. I was gonna say you'll get if you're gonna do a reaction, I actually think that would do gangbusters, and you should. Like it is one of the most beloved animes of all time. And then again, it's easy. 22-minute episode, like it was a standard show, so 22 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, do it.
Yeah, because it would be I could record it on Monday, edit it through the week, and put it out on the weekend. It's very possible, or on Friday. Vincent Watt says, Rocha, recommend Attack on Titan. You would love it. Thank you, Vincent. Yes, other people have recommended. I will absolutely be circling around to that because I do like anime. KJ said, thoughts on Molly Curran's departure on First Take? Do you still watch First Take? Still, will Stephen A. hire his daughter Samantha to replace Molly? I mean, maybe. But yeah, I kind of daughter. I wasn't the biggest fan of Molly. Then I became a fan of Molly because of all the stuff I heard about behind the scenes dealing with Stephen A. So, but I'm shocked that she just walked away. Like, I'm not coming back anymore. That is a little surprise to see that, but maybe she's got a better offer or something happened. What are your thoughts here?
I mean, I actually pulled this really quick because Stephen A did give a small little spiel on his show. So let me do the share. Because I also thought it was interesting that it seems very abrupt.
Yeah.
But this is what Stephen A had to say.
Oh, all right.
She abruptly resigned
as
the host of the show. And to say that I'm quite sad about it, is an understatement. Molly is a friend. Molly is a coworker. Molly is somebody that I have leaned on many occasions in the past, as she has done when it comes to me. We've been partners on the show for the last 10 years. And a lot of times some of these things happen and it's just uncomfortable to see. The details, quite frankly, are none of y'all business.
That's bullshit.
But
Okay.
it's not as if I know all the details. It was a contract negotiation that was going on. ESPN certainly did not want to lose her. But in the event, in the end, rather, she made a decision to walk away from the show effective immediately, as you see from her Instagram post.
So yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds like something broke down in contract negotiations. Either she wanted a lot more money or time or whatever it was. Something didn't go right, and we ended up with a Micah Parsons type situation.
Yeah.
But in this case, instead of being traded somewhere else, you just said, "Fine, I'll step away." So,
Yeah. Clearly, something happened. Like something happened. Maybe it was contract negotiations. Maybe it was something else. Maybe something was said. Maybe all the political fervor this week, like the emotions are running high. You know, who knows? But yeah, to abruptly resign at ESPN, that's almost unheard of. You know, and it's usually you're kicked out. It's not that you resign immediately. So I wonder what this means overall. And maybe she just got sick of Stephen A, which is very possible as well. It could be as simple as that. You know,
dude, all I know is, man, look, she was incredibly talented. She was fine as hell. Like, she was very good at reining things in.
Yeah.
I'm sad to see her go, but you know, I wish Molly the best. I hope whatever's next on the docket for her is even better than what she's done here in the past.
And she rolled with stupid shit like this shit that happened on was it? They were trying to get her to bend over to hike the ball.
In the NFL Network. Oh, way back in the day. Oh, yeah.
He's like, I ain't doing that shit, you dummy. Not my leopard brother. Get out of here.
Stupid.
So dumb. She rolled with it, with the stupid male shit that goes on in the world of sports, man. So God love her.
I mean, wasn't she married to Jalen Rose?
Oh, was that her? Ooh.
Yeah. So, like, you know, she dealt with the tomfoolery.
I love Jalen. I'm always gonna love Jalen.
I love Jalen, but that's the thing. Jalen been just like tomfoolery. Just.
And JB says anime does that shit. Winston A. Marshall 2025. KJ says, as a 50-year-old black man, can Winston explain how he never saw The Last Dragon? Winston, have you seen The Wiz and The Color Purple? Big fan of you guys. Winston's not 50.
I'm definitely not 50 at all. I'm not even close to 50.
Maybe KJ saying he's 50. And so
maybe KJ is 50. That's possible. But I answered this actually on Capes and Cows. Essentially what it is that I was born in 87. My parents were not into movies like that. So I saw The Wiz and Color Purple because those are two of my mom's favorite movies. But they just did not watch movies. So I have a massive gap in my movie knowledge for 80s and earlier, with exceptions. Then in the 90s, I'm a child. So I'm not looking for The Godfather. I'm seeing the Ninja Turtles movie and then putting it in my VHS 100 times. So right around 98, 99 is where my movie like knowledge and acknowledgement started to grow and flourish. And I've gone back and seen stuff, but The Last Dragon is very much a cult classic. This is not something that gets talked about the way Boys in the Hood gets talked about. You know what I'm saying? The way Shaft got talked about. It was hilarious and it was a good time, but let's not pretend like this was an Oscar-winning movie or like Star Wars level of like fame. You know what I'm saying? So like that's so when people keep saying that, I'm like, okay, cool, sure enough. I'm glad I finally know what that's from, but like, come on now.
Even black nerds have their gatekeeping. It's like, hey, if you haven't seen Last Dragon, you can't be one of us. And it's like, no, come on.
I don't even think KJ's like fucking with me like that. But the number of black people say, take his black car. I was like, nigga, like, cool. I'm gonna go find a black movie you ain't seen. Kiss my ass. Like,
yeah, I remember. I lived through the Black Dragon time. I was a teenager when that came out. I remember that was like a guilty pleasure because it was not received that well, and it didn't do that well at the box office, you know. But the iconography of Sho'nuff. And I think it was Barry Gordy's son or grandson who was a cousin or whatever who was the main kid. So it has a place, but I don't think it should be, the black card provoking type of situation.
I don't think that movie is nearly enough to do that. It was great. I really enjoyed it, but there are so many other black movies that have happened the 70s, the 80s, the 90s that take precedent over The Last Dragon, even though it was fun as hell. You know what I'm saying?
That's like telling me Taco Bell is Latino food. Come on now. It's a little bit, I don't know if it's
Latino inspired, Rocha. Latino inspired.
KJ, did you guys get to the highest, lowest to lowest yet? Did you see high, low, the original? I was disappointed in Spike's version. Script needed work. Yeah, KJ, I said this on the show a few weeks ago. I saw it 4 weeks ago, 3-4 weeks ago. I liked it for what it was because it's very Spike Lee from the 1990s, like Mo Better Blues type Spike Lee. It was nice to see that again. I don't think the acting for some of the characters was that strong, but Jeffrey Wright and Denzel and A$AP Rocky were excellent and carried me through the movie. So I enjoyed the film for the experience, but I think the script definitely needed work. I'm not going to deny that.
Okay, I haven't seen it. Okay, it's on Apple, right?
Yes, it is on Apple now. Yeah.
So I'll get to it eventually. It just like I love Denzel and I love Spike, but it wasn't high on my list of things to go rush to go see. It felt like and I'm not familiar. I'd love me some Kurosawa as well, but I actually haven't seen High and Low, so I didn't have that connection to pull me into it, and it just kind of looked like Black Taken was the vibe I was getting. Like not to be a dick, like that's what I was getting. I'm not saying it wouldn't be good with Spike directing and Denzel being there, but I just was like, it sounds like another Taken film. I'm good on that right now. But if people had been this is fantastic, then I would have been there instantly. I didn't hear it like that. I heard mixed reviews, so it's just lower on my list.
It's a social commentary film about the difference between the haves and the have-nots. It's more a commentary on that. It's not about give me back my son like ransom or whatever. No, it's much more about like why do you have so much when I have so little? And is it okay for you to have so much? And why aren't you addressing the fact that you have so much when people have so little? And so I like that. That's the general theme of the original one from Kurosawa as well. So carried over into this one. But yeah.
So almost different angle because it's a crime thriller, but it reminds me a lot of Parasite. Then that's kind of the same mentality.
Energy. Yep, I would agree. Has that kind of energy for sure. Reggie Brown, we seem to be getting closer and closer to the Civil War that came out last year, that movie. Well,
unfortunately, I hope we don't ever get there.
But, I hope so either. Yeah. That's going to be crazy. I hope it doesn't happen. Adit Mahmood, isn't Daniel Destin Cretton doing a Naruto movie? I don't know. Is he?
I had heard that, but I don't know because there were talks about that happening. Naruto, I don't know. I didn't say movies. Let me try this. Live action. But there was talk, like there was then this random rumor that Lionsgate is developing a live action film with Destin Daniel Cretton. But then there was like a rumor that they were going to cast Tom Holland as Naruto. I will slap somebody silly if they do that. I understand that Naruto is blonde haired and blue eyed, but I will fight somebody if you try and make Tom Holland Naruto. That is insane.
Wow. KJ says, for the new NBA season, are you already subscribed to all the streaming channels for the games? How do you feel about the NBA streaming games? I mean, yes, I'm already subscribed to those channels, but I never get the NBA league pass, but the other channels for sure. Where are you at on this one?
Because what is it? It's
Peacock, right?
Peacock. No. Well, let's see. Where can you watch
all the networks streaming NBA games?
Oh, whoops, that disappeared. So what? Peacock, ESPN.
Yes.
Is
oh shit. God damn, all these ads.
Okay, here we go. How to watch it in 2025 and what is it going to cost you? Okay. Right. So, spoiler alert, $880 if you want to watch every single. God damn, that's more than league ticket or Sunday ticket.
League,
monthly cable, satellite, or whatever. So YouTube TV, Fubo, Hulu with live TV, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So something in that range to kind of start because national games with local games, ESPN Wednesday and Fridays, part of your cable streaming package, ABC, part of your cable streaming package, NBC, part of your cable streaming package. Peacock's going to have games Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Amazon Prime is going to have games Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Yikes. That is a lot.
Yeah.
So I have Peacock. I have Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be using my mama's DirecTV stream, so maybe that'll give me some of them. We'll see what happens. I don't know, man. I just, sheesh.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Brian Brawler says, Black. What's up, Rocha? Okay. Good to see you, brother.
I don't know if that was a reference to Abbott Elementary, but I'm going to assume it was, and that was one of the funniest moments. Have you've seen the show, right?
Yeah, I love the show. Yeah.
Do you remember that moment when what's his name, the white gay teacher or whatever, he keeps talking about his boyfriend over and over again, and then it was the heavier set black gay dude.
The guy
like,
hey,
hey, all they go Black. I mean, no, it's actually pronounced Zach, but.
That was great. I love that show.
Love that, man.
I love the journey that her ex-boyfriend has gone on, like from like being a loser and sponging off her to now him being part of the PTA and stuff. Whenever he pops up, he is hilarious.
He's hysterical. You know about him prior to the show, right?
No,
because I only got made aware of it recently. He's a legitimate rapper, but he does kind of like goof rap shit. Look up the song. Hold on, I'm gonna find the name of the song, and you gotta listen to it afterwards because it is one of the funniest songs maybe ever.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I look forward to it.
Yeah. But no, he's awesome. I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah, love his comedy. Reggie Brown says we about to hit 90s versions of the W with CC Paige, Juju, Sabrina Ionescu, Aja Wilson, Cameron Brink, Rakea Jackson, and Nafisa Collier, all-star Hall of Fames on every team. Yeah, Hall of Famers on every team. Yeah, that's a fair point.
I agree. Jesus is the one. I got depression. That's the name of the song. Jesus is the one. I got depression.
Now I'm going to listen to it later.
It's short too. It's like a minute and 53 seconds. It is one of the funniest songs.
I hear this. Okay, I got it. Zach Fox. Got it. Respect. Oh shit, man. I can't wait to listen to that. Yes. Well, I mean, I'll say this. It depends on how CC comes back. These injuries have been legitimate for Caitlyn. So are these injuries because she was weightlifting in the off season and her body just kind of was less fluid and so got injured? Or did she, just start this path of injury for herself? We could be looking at a Joe Burrow situation, bro, which I think would be heartbreaking to see with Caitlyn.
For the sake of, obviously for Caitlyn's sake, but for the sake of the league, I really hope that's not what happens. Because if that's what happens, bro.
Yeah, possibly. As good as everyone is, the ratings will go down. I don't doubt it. ES13 says Dame's rhetoric is common among Gen X men, especially black men. I know because it's in my family. I don't blame women his age dating younger men. LOL.
Tracy Ellis Ross openly admitted, she's like, I don't date any men my age because most of them have that same mentality, or they can't deal with the fact that I have been incredibly successful and I'm incredibly rich. So like I date younger men because they treat me right and like talk to me properly, dick me down. Like I was like, damn, Tracy. Okay, auntie, do you? But good for you for also acknowledging and knowing that about yourself.
Yeah, I would expect the daughter of Diana Ross to not be a wallflower, so I'm not surprised that she has some strong opinions there. Wayne Edwards says, what's up, fellas? What's up, Wayne? Great to see you, brother. Always love to see your brother. Rocha, I am a casual anime fan, and the ones I love are older. That being said, I'll recommend Samurai X, Ninja Scroll, Ghost in the Shell, both movies. I've seen those, and Cowboy Bebop, one of my favorite TV shows. Okay, those are good recommendations.
Bebop's the way to go, man. I think that's a good starting point.
Let's do it, man. Fuck it. It's time. I need something new. Vincent Zwart said Robert Redford and Paul Newman, best duo ever. Yeah. Sadly, both gone now, too, as well. So, yeah. Good points, Vincent. Wayne back again. Thank you, Wayne. Hearing about the death of Robert Redford was a gut punch. One of my favorite actors ever. One of the first faces I recognized on the TV screen when I was a kid in the 70s. He and other actors made me fall in love with film. Yeah, for sure. And he only did he didn't do a lot of it. That's the thing. When you look at his resume in the last few decades, not a lot of films. So that when he was in a film, it was a big deal, and like in Winter Soldier, he did that All Is Lost movie, which I think is amazing. Almost no dialogue in that film. It was incredible acting performance. And his last one was An Old Man and the Gun with him and Sissy Spacek. Incredible performance, really touching small little film. So yeah. But because he was doing all these other things, running an institute, doing these causes, very busy man, all out of Utah, by the way, all out of Utah.
Wow.
Yeah. Doug DeVella, what's up, Doug? Says, Rocha, at what point during the 1991 NFL regular season did you feel, yeah, my Skins are definitely winning the Super Bowl? November, December? Right when there were zeros on the time clock after the Super Bowl was over. That was the time when I felt we won.
Because the Bills were crazy.
Yes.
Like the Bills were insane.
I knew we were special the first couple when we whipped the Lions, and I think we whipped the Dolphins in the first couple of games. And I was like, I've never seen us like this. And then the way we just kept marching through everybody. And hey, what was the first loss we took? The Dallas Cowboys. That was first, and we lost at home. We were 11-0 when we lost that year to the Cowboys, which just made me crazy. And then we lost the Eagles when we played all our scrubs, but then we rolled through the playoffs. But the Bills were scary. People forget just because they've lost these 4 Super Bowls in contemporary time. The Bills were fucking scary with the amount of weapons they have on both sides of the ball. They were scary. And so
the Bills were insane, bro.
Yeah.
The Bills were smacking people around because like people talk about the last time Kansas City was kind of relevant. It was around that time when they had that defense that like was no nonsense and would like shut, and they 37-14. That's the last time Buffalo beat Kansas City in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Like it was or that Buffalo beat Kansas City in the playoffs, but like they were just rolling. And so that's why it was so shocking for them to legitimately lose 4 Super Bowls in a row. That was crazy.
And I forget that because I finished watching the Cowboys doc, brother, and I forget that they had a real shot at winning the in the rematch with the Cowboys. Like in that third quarter, there was a chance.
Pissed.
Yeah, if Kelly hadn't gone down, there's a real chance they could have squeaked out that victory over Switzer's Cowboys, but they didn't in the end, and that's the way it goes. Because we could have been talking about the Bills like we talk about the Patriots. Like people could have been if they had won all those Super Bowls, people would have said Jim Kelly is in there as the greatest quarterbacks ever, like top 5, maybe top 10. You could legitimately make that case if they had won those Super Bowls. It's crazy how life is, man.
But the other thing that I just realized, I forgot the Bills because that was the thing. They were the 1 seed the year before.
Yes.
So you were the second defeat. We hit them with 2 in a row, but these dudes, they lost to NFC East.
Yes.
Like the NFC East representative.
Yep.
Every single time. All 4 losses for like the Giants won the division their year, they win the Super Bowl. You win the division, you won the Super Bowl. We win the division both times, we win the Super Bowl. All at the expense of the Bills, bro.
If it had been from any other division, they might have won one of those, for sure. Fred says Tom Holland would be a great Shoyo Hinata from Haikyuu if they ever decide to do a live version. Haikyuu is volleyball anime, FYI. Oh, I didn't know that. Volleyball anime.
There's a lot of really great sports animes. A lot of great like Slam Dunk, great basketball one. I'm a big fan of oh my god, what is it? It's Kuroku's basketball. Hold on, I got to remember the name of it. Kuroko. Yeah. Kuroko no Basket or Kuroko's basketball is essentially this kind of weird kid. He's like a little bit of a loner. He played on this team called the Generation of Miracles, and essentially each of the players is the absolute best at what they do. So the center not only is like Shaq-esque, blocks everything, does crazy dunks on people. The shooting guard is essentially Kobe. He's just out here just embarrassing folks and making circus shots. The point guard has something called like the Emperor's Eye. He's able to see the field in such a way that he makes the perfect pass every time that instantly goes in. There's a 3-point shooter that's essentially supposed to be Ray Allen if he was Japanese, had glasses and green hair, where he hits every single long distance shot you could possibly make. And then the power forward on the team was actually he was like a clone. He was able to somehow do everything everybody else does. Right. He can mimic their other stuff. He's not as good as them at what they do, but he can mimic what they do to an nth degree. So like it is a lot of fun. It is a fun sports anime for sure.
Right on, man. Luis Soria Ramirez says Taco Bell is not Hispanic food, man. Now Pollo Loco is a bit closer. Hashtag Hispanic heritage. Hashtag Viva La Raza. Absolutely. Thank you, Luis. Appreciate that, brother. All right, so these Streamlabs, let's get through these real quick. Fantastic. Hey, Tequila Spillers. About anime, the Rocha knows my feelings about that in Star Wars. I'm not surprised because Disney animation usually does well at the box office, and anime is animation, not to keep it too simple about the craziness of the rhetoric. Huh? There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Disney should explore it. I mean, people have been clamoring for an anime Star Wars. So looks like you take somebody from the Visions series and do a whole full-length feature out of it. It's possible. Yeah. Doug says, hey guys, if you were drafted in the NFL, which active coach's style and personality would most likely bring out the best in you? I'll include Belichick in the mix just because he's only been out for a couple of years. I wouldn't want to play for Belichick.
No, I wouldn't either.
Active coach?
Probably either Andy Reid. I actually like, I mean, it's too early to say with Schottenheimer, but so far what has been presented, including even how he celebrated the first win, I like the energy. Sean McVay, Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell's the answer. I take it back. I remember watching them on Hard Knocks. I'm gonna do the push-ups with your ass. Let's go. Like Dan Campbell seems like that dude.
Yeah, I'd have to say McVay because no, actually, I'll go with Shanahan. I would go with Kyle Shanahan because he has a way of bringing out the best in these players and players you don't think they're going to be great. Now, does he always win the Super Bowl? No, clearly he hasn't won it yet. But the fact that he brings out the best in these players, I know that I'd be in good hands with someone like him to reach the pinnacle of what I can reach as a player. Will we as a team win a Super Bowl? Maybe not. But I will be the best I can be as a player because of his coaching. So I'd probably go with him. You know,
I'd have to think about that because I don't know if it's him that's causing this or the training staff, but why is San Francisco always broken?
That's a fair point. The injuries. Yeah. That's a good point.
Like in the way that Burrow individually is always broken. All of San Francisco. Remember the year they went through 4-5 quarterbacks? Yeah. And like you got Purdy, and then he gets hurt in the championship game, and they don't know what to do. So then they're just like out of quarterbacks. And that's where they put in the emergency quarterback rule the year after because of that shit.
That's true. You're right.
No, Debo hurt too much. CMC was already injury prone, but even more so. Nope. I would not want to play for that gentleman.
You know, I'm looking through. I think maybe even I think I'd have to throw Matt LaFleur in the mix. I like what he's done with Green Bay.
Sure.
I think Matt LaFleur's. I would say Tomlin, but Tomlin's on the decline right now. But so I would say LaFleur. Yeah, I think LaFleur's probably my final answer. Great question, man. Let's see what else we got here. Fantastic. I feel like I'm left without protection from the authorities because if there are lawmen who want to help the unprotected, the administration will run interference, so I can't get the protection needed.
Say that one more time.
He says, I feel like I'm left without protection from the authorities because if there are lawmen who want to help the unprotected, the administration will run interference, so I can't get the protection needed.
What is that in reference to? I think I'm confused.
I don't know. I think maybe he's saying, I don't know if Fred is an actual lawman himself saying that, like, I can't help. Maybe, you know,
he said he sent two. Do they connect with each other? Is there another one?
No, I don't see another one that he sent. So if he wants to add on to it, we'll read it in the chat. So if you want to explain that.
I'm just confused. That's all.
Okay. Matt Thomas says, I saw a Big Bold Beautiful Journey last night. Absolutely loved it. Can't wait for the respective Rocha and Marshall reviews. Do either of you have screenings for him tomorrow? I'm skipping mine because I'm going to see the Paul Thomas Anderson movie tomorrow. It's the only time it's screening in San Diego, and him comes out on Thursday, so I can go see it on Thursday. So
I'm gonna I do not have the screening. I am going to him like first thing in the morning on Thursday. So I'll have my or no, it's at about, I got a thing, I forgot, I have a thing with Christian until about 2, and then I see him at 2. So I'll have my out of the theater out around it's about a 90-minute 2-hour movie. So some around there like 4:30 or 5.
Yeah, right on. Okay. Matt Thomas also just got out a long walk. Seems like David Johnson has a real shot at filling the Chadwick void in the near future. Dude is a talent. Yeah, I agree. He's amazing.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I'm glad you like Big Bold Beautiful Journey, Matt, because it's not getting great reviews. And the tracking for it is pretty bad, like 8 to 10 million. So that's not a good situation there.
Which one was that? Is that the Colin Farrell, Margot Robbie?
Margot Robbie one. Yeah. I'm kind of dreading that one, to be honest with you, but we'll see. Matt also says, Go.
No, I was just gonna say, just looking at it, nothing about it really got me like, ooh, I want to see that. So I don't know.
It looks kind of sweet and
which is fine. I love sweet. I love rom-coms, all that kind of stuff. But there was nothing about it. Even just like I haven't seen a trailer. I've just seen random clips on TV about it.
Yeah.
Just looking at like even the poster, I'm just like, eh.
Yeah, I saw a trailer for it yesterday. I went to see Downton Abbey. I loved it. I thought it was the best of the movies. But like I saw the trailer for it, and I'd never seen a trailer either, Winston, right? And I watched it, and I was like, oh, this is about time. This is because essentially they're getting to go back in time to fix their mistakes in high school.
So it's kind of like Sunshine, though that's obviously erasing it, but it's kind of a similar thing of kind of reliving your
Eternal Sunshine. Yeah. Kind of like and the hint is that they're going to end up together by going through this path, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Matt says,
no. It's not that. I'm huffing because I'm looking at the injury report for week 1 for the Niners. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 players in week 1.
All right.
And then week 2 was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like,
wow.
I know the injuries happen, but like relatively, the Saints only had 7.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like,
yeah. Matt LaFleur even more so now, I guess. Matt says, okay, Rocha only. Okay. Animals suggestion I'll give is anime suggestions I'll give is Dragon Ball Z, but for you specifically, I'll say Z Kai because it's a more streamlined version of the main story and trims out some of the fat. I know Winston may consider that sacrilege, but hey, that's how it is. I've never heard of Z Kai, so I don't know what to make out of it.
I missed part of that. I apologize.
Okay.
Zeke. I'm not sure. Sorry.
What do you say? Oh, so here's Fred. He says that was the second one. I was talking about feeling unprotected against the Gestapo.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, I understand. I mean that was a big. Oh, Dragon Ball Z Kai.
Oh, Dragon Ball Z Kai. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
No. That's why I was like Z Kai. What is Z Kai? Now I understand. Okay, I'll come back to that. But answering Fred, I hear what you're saying. There are different levels to it for sure, and they hit differently. But that is a similar fear that many Black people, myself included, for the longest time, have always felt about the cops. I've never trusted them. I've seen enough bad stuff happen. I have been one of my first interactions where I'm 17, and the only thing that was wrong is my car broke down. And it was, yes, there was a curfew in the city, but like I was literally sitting there, had already called my mom, just waiting by my car for her to come pick me up. And all of a sudden, boy, what do you think you're doing out here? You had about 30 minutes to get the fuck up out of here. I'm throwing your ass in jail. Like that's how a cop came up to me at 17. I'm literally just sitting with my hood up. Clearly the car is not turning on, and that's how I'm getting talked to. So I've always felt that way with cops. I'm very hesitant to ever talk to them unless I absolutely have to, including the multiple break-ins that happened at my old place and unfortunately having to talk to them. But then I can see how specifically now that you're dealing with a government that is given full authority to do whatever to anybody that is Latino or otherwise, I can understand the fear of like, they might disappear me forever. And not just like I get my ass beaten, thrown in prison, but I get sent to a country I've never heard of in one of the scariest prisons on the planet.
Yeah. That would be terrible for sure.
Even if you're like a citizen here, like you were born and raised here, and still because they're already doing that to people.
That's what scares me as someone who was born here, but the son of immigrant parents. Like I absolutely worry about when they just start going like, well, we're not hitting our quotas. Let's go get the sons of the immigrants now. And it's kind of scary to think about it as a possibility for sure. So yeah, I agree. Oh, sorry guys. I just noticed someone here being a jerk off. Let me block them real quick. Sorry about it. I hope no one was offended by what they were saying.
He was running his mouth. I
was
trying to see
your comments.
No, I appreciate it, but I like all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh, blocking coming," and I was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
But Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Z, right? But Dragon Ball Z Kai, it was a redone version of Dragon Ball Z that cut a lot of the filler out, and it got more to the point. Because there's a lot of the things about Dragon Ball Z, sometimes it would drag on.
Yeah.
But I just don't it is better pacing, but I don't like Kai because I first got introduced and fell in love with Dragon Ball Z to a composer known as Bruce Faulkner, who did this for like Funimation and did like his scoring to it. I love it so much that I end up watching pretty much Dragon Ball Z fully dubbed all the time. I watch pretty much everything else subbed, but like the voice acting with the actors for that and the music that was there, just it's lodged in my brain. So I can't.
Yeah, of course. We are affected by our entertainment that we watch, man, for sure. And when it gets in there, it gets in there. All right, well, there you go. That's our show. Thank you all so much. I'm sorry we ran a little bit over. Sorry to Winston, we ran a little bit over, but I appreciate him sticking around. And thanks everybody for the chats, super chats rather. Thanks everybody for the Streamlabs and for the lively chat that we had in here on all the topics. Really appreciate you all. And Winston, where can they find you and everything you got going on, man?
You can find me at the Swaggy Blurred on all platforms. Here on YouTube, I believe we are. Let me double check it real quick. As of last count, I believe we were only about 15 subs away from hitting 5,000, which would be dope. Wow. So definitely hoping y'all can come over there and do that. Other than that, I'm trying to think what other stuff I got going on. I got reactions coming out over there. Obviously, here every Tuesday. Blurreds in the Hood comes back tomorrow. So youtube.com/Blurreds in the Hood. Come join me and Jay as we're bringing the show back and whatnot. We will be there Wednesdays. And then Friday, back on Capes and Cows over on the Christian Harloff channel. Chris Carr has joined us now as our third since Coy has left the show. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff going on, man. So appreciate each and everybody. And what Mondays for me for the Blurred Breakdown, which not them trying to give me a copyright. What are they trying to get me now? Because I played at one of the damn Emmy speeches. You son of a bitch.
Welcome to the game. Welcome to the game. All right, there you go. Thank you, Winston. As for me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on all social media. Subscribe to the channel down below. Leave your comments and please share the show. We got to get more views on the show, so we'd love it if you guys helped us by posting it everywhere on social media, get more people to join us here live on Tuesdays for the fun show that we do here, because I'm pretty proud of this show and I wanted to keep going. So please share it everywhere you can so we can keep building up the fan base. And we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode here of Spill the Tequila. Peace. Until then.